Hey, welcome to the Sports Reverends podcast. My name is Dan. I'm joined with my big bro, the coach. His name is Joel. He is a coach not only on the basketball court, but also in the stock markets as well. I'm a reverend downtown Toronto, also a chaplain for Toronto Fire. And boy, do we got a show for you today. You know, a lot of podcasts, a lot of shows, they give you something to take away. And what the Sports Reverends show is going to give you is something far greater than any of those podcasts could ever give you. It's the solution to all your problems. Yeah, I'm absolutely serious about that. The solution to all your problems. We're going to point you to the source that's going to help you in every situation of your life. You know, we love sports. We're passionate about sports, but we're even more passionate about our faith. So in our show, you're going to hear about our unapologetic faith and some hot sports takes along the way. Coach, why don't you give them a little rundown of what's going on today?
All right. Here we go. We got our quick hitters as always. We're going to talk a little bit of NFL, give you our next Sports Reverends 5 for the week. Wrap up our NBA talk, a little bit of Major League Baseball, and then off to the best part, the real talk section where we are going to answer the question, am I there yet? Why don't you start us off, Dan, with our first quick hitter?
Time for some quick hitter news. The Detroit Lions. Jameson Williams faces a 2-game suspension for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substance policy.
New York Liberty have won their first WNBA finals, and the players have surprisingly opted out of their CBA, which now expires at the end of 2025.
Aaron Gordon agrees to a 4-year, $133 million extension with the Denver Nuggets.
Indiana's quarterback Curtis Rourke underwent surgery for his thumb on Monday and is out indefinitely. They're 7-0, so tough loss for them.
And the number 1 pick in the 2024 NHL draft, Macklin Celebrini, will miss a minimum of 2 more weeks, according to the San Jose Sharks. Before we dive in any further, let's handle some business. UrbanHope is a mentorship program that I get to run in downtown Toronto. It's a place that we invite kids and youth to learn and grow and develop mentorship skills, develop in their discipleship, and they know that it's a safe place for them to come and hang out. We're also building a basketball academy to help them grow, as coach is going to be a part of leading that and teaching them skills on and off the court. You know, we've had a lot of success stories of kids being pulled out of the gangs and turning their lives into success stories of honoring God and being successful in the community, successful in their careers. And if you want to be a part of this, a part of pouring into the next generation, check out the link in our description in our YouTube here. It's churchinthecity.ca/give, and it's going to go all towards the UrbanHope program. You can mark that down as you give. And if you are in Canada, you even receive a tax receipt for that if it's more than $20, and know that every single dollar will be poured into that program and to supporting the next generation. So please give, and thank you for supporting.
Absolutely. Let's roll with our first topic of the night here. A recap of our previous week, the top Sports Reverends 5. I think we went 3-2 last week. We had the Jacksonville win, a Houston win, Buffalo win. No, Houston lost. Right, Houston lost, Buffalo win, the Jets lost, and Philly won. So 3-2, falling off a 4-1 week. That's all right. We'll pick it up this week. Moving into week number 8. A lot of fantasy teams have been derailed by injuries, but let's see what we can roll on with here. I think this could be a pretty easy pick for you. Baltimore at Cleveland, 1 o'clock game. Deshaun Watson, done. So Ken Lamar, run amok.
You never know. I know it's super favorited for the Ravens. It is, but these divisional rivals, there's always a chance they're going to be home. You know, yeah, definitely I'm going to lean on Baltimore to win this game. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's as big of a guarantee as people will say it is. But yeah,
Ooh,
Baltimore.
okay.
I'll have them. I could see Cleveland covering the spread or something like that.
Something funky could happen. We're picking Baltimore. Tennessee at Detroit. I think Detroit's on fire here. A weak Tennessee team rolling in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. Detroit is on the next level, and both the Tennessee quarterbacks, Will Levis and or the guy that started last Sunday, I forget his name right now.
I forget his name too.
And both of them look like Will Levis. Is what my point is. They doesn't matter. You can interchange either of them. They both are subpar. It's going to be an absolute roll in Detroit.
Yeah, that's a tough one for them, but that's all right. Kansas City. This could interdivisional game, but Kansas City at Vegas in Vegas. It's the 425 game.
Vegas is known for somehow when it comes to playing Kansas City, beating them. I think in the last 4 years they've beat them 3 times. So this is a tough one. I know Vegas got a lot of hate for Gardner Minshew. There's a lot of hate for Gardner Minshew. It's Mason Rudolph, who I was talking about for Tennessee.
There you go.
He's the same as Will Levis. Gardner Minshew gets a lot of hate, but they're not great. Yeah, I don't know. You can't go against Mahomes at this point, though. You can't go against Mahomes.
Especially losing Devontae Adams. I think that's kind of a signal where their season's going to go.
But they picked up part owner Tom Brady, so
they did.
Maybe he's got a little bit of influence there.
A little bit of magic will come through. Okay, so if you'd asked me a week ago, I would have laughed you out of the state, out of this podcast. But Dallas at San Francisco, the Sunday nighter. Ayuk's done for the season. Who knows if Debo is going to play? CMC's gone. Could be ripe for a picking right now.
San Francisco. This is the best time for Dallas to play San Francisco off of a bye week while they're absolutely decimated. Can we save this for the end? Because I want to have a friendly wager with you as a San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. We'll put that to bed. How about this one? A little bit of spark here in Pittsburgh. New York at Pittsburgh. Does Russell Wilson continue to look like he's turned back the clock a little bit?
They're playing the Giants? That's the question? Yep. The Giants?
Yep.
Oh, man, this is a guarantee for
Locking
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, guarantee. The Pittsburgh Steelers, can you give Mike Tomlin some flowers? Can you give the Sports Reverends some flowers? And another guy from TSN now, Luke Wilson, some flowers? Because we all said Russell Wilson should be playing. And when everyone else in the world said it should be Justin Fields, because Justin Fields was 4-2, this and that. This was the most points they've put up in years. Absolutely insane. So I'm going with Mike Tomlin, going back in his guy, Russell Wilson, against a real weak Giants team. I don't know if they have that one offensive lineman healthy for the Giants. He kind of makes or breaks that line. And as you saw last week, they had like 15 sacks. So, Steelers, lock them in for sure.
Locking in the Steelers. And he had some nice deep balls too. He looked good.
Not bad.
He looked good. Okay, so since we're saving the Dallas-San Francisco game, I'll give you another tough one. Arizona at Miami. Does Tua come back and play? Does this be a run and gun game? What do you think?
Yeah, it's looking like everything like Tua's coming back. And I think it's time to fade Mr. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals for the rest of the month at least, because the official release of Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is out this Friday, this week. So I'm fading them. All the statistics when the release of Black Ops or Call of Duty comes out points away from Kyler Murray. I'm taking those to the bank.
All right. I'm with you on that. Okay, let's hear your friendly little wager you want to have for the Cowboys-Niners game.
Okay. I got a 2-part wager here. We still have this whole beautiful bottle of ammonia salt, okay? So one is a giant sniff of this. So what you'll do is the next time we do it, we have to take a deep breath and then big sniff.
What do you mean?
Okay?
What do you mean next time me? It's going to be
one
you.
Of us, whoever does it, okay? And the other person also has to wear the team's hat for the next episode, okay? Cowboys hat, San Francisco 49ers hat. Obviously, I'm the Cowboys. I am taking the risk here because we've looked horrible, but the Niners are decimated. So let's go Cowboys over the Fenners for a
Okay.
ammonia salt smell, sniffing salt smell, and the other team's hat for the next pod.
Beautiful.
Can you run through our picks
Beautiful.
one more time of the actual 5, though?
Yeah. Well, we'll call the actual 5. We have Baltimore, Detroit, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Miami. And the bonus is going to be our wager, Dallas and San Francisco.
Okay, let's go. I love it.
How does that strike you? Sounds good. I'm looking forward to watching you sniff the sniffing salts again. I'm looking forward to that. And a real sniff this time. The first time was kind of half.
It caught me off guard. It did. I didn't really know how to do it, so we'll have to.
Well, we've never done it
practice
before,
here.
so it's fair. That's fair. Okay. NBA season is upon us. We are finally here. Raptors season opener, I think, is on Thursday, I believe. Wednesday. Oh, today's Tuesday. Yeah. Wednesday with the Cleveland Cavaliers coming to town. We have, I think, Boston rigging up a banner tonight. And then we could have the potential LeBron James on the same court for the first time. Father-son duo for a professional game. So don't really care about that. But anyways, let's keep going with our top 5 rankings here. Starting in the East, we're going to go reverse order from 5 to 1. And it's a team that I completely forgot hit top 5. Orlando Magic. Totally out the window. Why don't you go first? Give us your thoughts on the Magic.
Yeah, I like the Orlando Magic. I like Paolo Banchero. I like their pieces, the Wagner brothers. You know, I'm with them sticking. Man, if they're not top 5, they are just out of top 5, like 6th, maybe 7th. But I would say I'm going top 5. I like this Magic team. They're going to be healthy. They're young. They're deep.
They added some good pieces. I think they should be in that 7 to 5 range as well. But that conference with Washington, Miami, Charlotte, it's just a weak division. And I think they can take it. I really do, because Miami, who knows how they're going to turn out, and the rest of the teams just sucks. I think 5 is a good spot for them. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Where do you think they're going to end up?
Yeah, that's another tough one. Obviously, it all depends on health, but yeah, they could be still in the top 5 again because they are deep. They are good. They basically were there. They were there. They were there to take on the Celtics, and their whole team was decimated with injury. So, you know, I'm sticking with the top 5 for the Cavaliers again. Yeah, they're that good.
I like them. I like them.
Evan Mobley's going to have another big year. So, another step up.
I think that, Chuck really ranked Donovan Mitchell pretty low. I'm not sure if there's a contract year for him yet, but it's time. He's going to put up some big numbers, I think, and another year of growth.
He signed an extension already.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So he's locked in. So I think they're going to make some noise. They're going to really make some noise. The Bucks, Milwaukee. It looks like Middleton's going to start the season off out of the lineup. Regardless, where do you think they're going to land?
I think we know what we're going to get from Giannis. You know, Giannis is MVP caliber player. Hopefully he can stay healthy. This is all based on if teams stay healthy. And with the idea, I guess that's part of our prediction is if they will stay healthy. I think Giannis will. I think he's focused on not having to crown everybody at the rim. You know, he's going to pull up for little short jump shots, little floaters, and that's going to be nasty. I think this team really runs on Damian Lillard. How good is he going to be? And that's going to be how far they're going to go. I still think they finish top 5, though. Absolutely. Come playoff time might be a different story. We'll see.
I'm a little concerned about their age. Robin Lopez is old. Middleton's old. Lillard's old. You got to have some guys who can run with Giannis. Do they have the legs? I don't know. I think they'll finish top 5. They're gonna battle it out hard. Plus, their division isn't the hardest, but I think for them it's championship or bust. To be honest, so top 5 for sure. I could see them landing in the top 3. But the New York Knickerbockers, one of the biggest changes for all these teams. Do you think they can land the number 2 spot, or can they finish on top?
Wow. I think, they're going to be top 2, in my opinion, for sure. The only leg up I give the Celtics is that they're deeper than the Knicks. The Knicks don't have that depth anymore, and that plays a huge role in the season. So I'm going to say they finish number 2. Yeah, number 2. But I love the Knicks. I'm cheering for them to be number 1 over the Celtics.
All right, last is number 1 is the Celtics, defending champs. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think they're probably the best team in the East, maybe the whole NBA. But there are teams that are gunning for them. I think specifically the Bucks and the Knicks are really going to put pressure on them. And when you think about the amount of games the Knicks will play against the Celtics, they could either cannibalize a bunch of wins that could, drop them on the 1 and 2 spot. But come playoff time, it's tough to see the Celtics being an underdog in any of the series.
Yeah, I'm with you. Celtics, you have to give them their flowers. I hate doing that, but you have to give them their flowers, and they're deep, they're good, and
Well coached.
Team to beat.
Yep,
well, yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's flip over to the West. I think we're going to see some movement here. The West, number 5 is Dallas. Surprise run to the playoffs, I would say. But what are your thoughts?
Mavericks, I think they got better. They got better in the offseason. They made it to the NBA Finals, and they got better. So they're going to be, what I presume, in the top 5 again. They are added shooting, added some athleticism. Their big depth is already good. They'll have a full season with those additions, as well as PJ Washington and the other big they got there. And yeah, I think they're going to finish top 5. Big year for Luka again.
Yeah, I think everybody's really focusing on the Luka-Kyrie pairing, as they should. But I think that we're going to see some good growth from the other pieces on this team. They are sneakily deep. And I think they can make some noise, top 5 for sure. But they could also go the other way and be the first round exit in the playoffs. But if they're consistent, I think they can make another run. Ooh, the second LA team, the Clippers, finishing 4th last year. Do they stay top 5?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They already reported Kawhi Leonard's not going to be their opening day. Alongside, he's going to miss a lot of time on and off throughout the season. So Clippers, they've lost their depth. They've lost their star power. I don't know why they've doubled down on Kawhi, but they have the new stadium, so that'll be good for their fans, and it's supposed to be a pretty amazing place. But yeah, Clippers, they're dropping. They're dropping.
Would be a long season in La La Land, as both LA teams are going to suck. I think they'll probably battle it out for the play-in positions, that kind of 7 to 10 range. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I love Kawhi, but he has just been on a downhill ever since he left Toronto. That knee, both knees are pretty problematic for him. And if you look at that squad, like Zubik is great, Terrence Mann is all right, Norm Powell's a good piece, but do they scare you? Not even maybe. So I would say definitely out of the top 5, they're definitely dropping the hardest. The T-Wolves swung for the fences here, got rid of Cat's contract, may have lost some spacing. What do you think? Are they going to finish in the top 3?
I have the T-Wolves out of the top 5. I am not huge on this trade that they made. I think Cat played a huge role for that team. He really was a 1A, 1B with Anthony Edwards. There's some that said Anthony Edwards is going to finish in the top of the league in scoring per game. I don't even think that's enough for them. I really think there's going to be a little bit of a fall off for them. They'll be a playoff team, so probably in that second tier bracket, but I think they may even be playing for the play-in. I don't know. I don't believe in them anymore. I don't believe in Julius Randle. I think they're going to have spacing issues. Yeah, that's probably opposing many people's thoughts on the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I agree with you on this. There's a couple things going against the T-Wolves. Number 1, the ownership situation is still a mess. Glenn Taylor, don't know if he wants to sell. Does he not want to sell? A-Rod and his partners have the cash ready, apparently. So that's a big problem. Getting off Cat's contract was, I feel, the main motivator for this trade. I don't think it makes them better. I think you're right. Julius Randle really hasn't performed at an all-star level caliber for an extended period of time. He had a really good year, got paid, had a decent year, then got hurt. And Anthony Edwards is going to pick up the scoring burden for sure, but I think it's going to hurt his body and development overall. He's going to be asked to do way more than what his team can handle. Who's going to score buckets in this team? You want a bunch of Julius Randle long twos? You'd rather have Cat shooting threes than a bunch of Julius Randle long twos. And the biggest thing is you're really messing with the mojo. Cat and Gobert really worked hard to make this work. And Julius Randle just isn't the spacer that Cat was. So you're going to have a lot of things going to T-Wolves. I think they're going to drop out of the top 5. I think one of the younger teams you talked about, like New Orleans or one of those guys, could pop up in there. And we could see some real shake up there.
I convinced you. Convinced you to take
it. The more I thought about it, the more I'm like, man, this doesn't look great. Jamal Murray, Jokic, Nuggets, how do they look?
Yeah, I think they got their guys signed now. It's tough. They're going to fight for that one spot with the Thunder. It's 1A and 1B like it'll be last year. And I think they're going to have a better year with hopefully more healthy Jamal Murray and a little more added depth than last year as well. So, yeah, I like the Nuggets. I'm not taking anything away from them. I think Jokic, if he looked like he did in the Olympics, he looked faster, he looked a little thinner, and he looked motivated. So I'm excited to see what he's got in store for the rest of this league. I'd be scared if I'm the league if he's getting that much better as what we saw in the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm not as psyched about the Nuggets this year. I think losing Caldwell Pope for the contract that he signed with the Magic was a bit of a mistake. Like, continuity is always important. Like, you see losing Brown to the Raptors was a hit for them in the previous year. Jamal Murray also looked like a shell of himself in the Olympics. Sure, he was probably dealing with a bit of an injury, but he didn't have that same decisiveness that he would have in Denver. Maybe that's playing with Shai. That could be it, where he felt he had to defer a little more. I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough year for the Nuggets. Jokic looked great in the Olympics. He looked motivated, but I think the Nuggets are probably going to struggle to hit that top 1, top 2 spot this year.
What do you think of Russell Westbrook addition, though?
That's really tough. He's such a polarizing figure. I think as a basketball player, as an athlete, he's a good basketball player. As a basketball player, he's not a good basketball player. He takes way too many threes. His jumper is broken. He pushes the ball when he shouldn't. And then he assists or he tries to get passes when he should be aggressive. His ability to read the game, I feel, has deteriorated a little bit. He's so focused on the Westbrook and things like that. It's like, man, just if you go out and play, you'll be fine. Now, what he does add to this team is an instant spark that they didn't have before. One-man wrecking crew. He'll push the ball, put pressure on opposing defenses. It's just, will he choose to pull up 3? Will he choose to take a bad pull-up in the top of the key, or is he going to go straight to the rim? I think depends what kind of version of Russell we're going to get. But if he's shooting a lot of threes, it's not going to be so good.
Yeah, I wonder how they're going to use him, too. Is he going to come off the bench, or is he going to start alongside Jamal? Very good question.
Do you know how tall Jamal is?
6'4".
Okay, so
they're both
it might be undersized backcourt.
Undersized 2 guards, but big point guards.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's hard to bet against the Joker, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, the surprise number 1 team in a very, very long time, OKC. Can they repeat the magic?
Yes. Hands down, yes.
Wow.
Well, if not number 1, they're 2, but I think they're going to be right there. They're deadly. They added Hartenstein. They added. And I hope they take their 75 picks that they have compile it and put it towards getting another piece, because that would just put them over the edge. This is the time to do it. I don't know what they're waiting for. Maybe they're waiting for the right move. Maybe it's Milwaukee. I heard that they're if it doesn't go good by the trade deadline, maybe they want to move on Giannis and get. If Rudy Gobert could get 5 picks, maybe they could get 7, right? And what would that hurt the Thunder, right? So
True.
You never know. Maybe they're making like a move like that, or maybe they just run it back the way they're going. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I think they'd be a very good team. I think the burden of expectation might be something that plays against them, because all of a sudden, last year no one cared. There was no expectations for them to be good, really. Now all of a sudden, you're talking things you can talk about. Hey, there's gonna be a lot of trade rumors. Who can we pair with these guys? With Chet and Shai, and it could be a problem. Now, I think if they do finish in the top 5 for sure. I'm not sure about the number 1 seed. I think they finished in the top 5. So there you guys have it. There is your basketball windup. We did all the 30 teams. We're looking forward for tip-off and the start of a fun new year. Last but not least, before we hit to more business, Yankees and Dodgers, the World Series that everybody wanted. How many eyeballs are going to be on this series? How many people want to go 7 games?
Absolutely great for baseball. What star power. I don't know if there's been any more star power than this, at least in the last decade. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. It's great for baseball. I'm excited. I'm going to be tuning in as much as I can. And are we going to make some picks?
You pick your winner and I'll pick mine.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I've said all playoffs long. I know you wanted your Subway Series, but even the Dodgers, with all their injuries, they still were overwhelmingly better than the rest. They found a way. So
I'm picking the Yankees. I'm sticking with the Yankees. I think they bring home another championship and for the pinstripes. So I think they'll pick it up, and I'm going to call it 6.
Wow. Okay, I'm saying it goes to 7, but Dodgers take it out.
All right, there you go. All right, time for some more business, as we like to say on here. Really, Train to Invest. www.train2invest.com. If you are looking to find another source of income, if you're looking to control your finances, control your future, and have someone interested in your money, check us out. Download the free ebook, give it a read, reach out. We'd love to connect with you guys. Train to Invest is prides itself on teaching a course, making sure that you are prepared to handle your financial future, whatever that may look like for you and however involved you want to be. But it's a base of knowledge that you can go to your broker and say, hey, what does this mean? Why am I getting charged these fees? Inflation is a word that's being bandied about all over the place, and we've really felt the impact for the last couple of years. All right, enough of the business. Now time to the real talk section of what we're going to discuss in our pod today. Always one of our favorites to go over. And I titled this one, Am I There Yet? A bit of a weird title, but as we dive deeper, it'll make a little more sense. So here's the first opportunity for you, Pastor Daniel, and tell us a little bit about yourself. In sports, and on an amateur level, which you've played, what does satisfaction look like?
What does satisfaction look like in sports? It's winning. For me, it's always been winning. I didn't care about the personal stats so much. I cared about our team winning. And yeah, that's the simplest way I can say it. It's performing well as a team to win a championship. That was my goal. That was always my heartbeat. I didn't care if it was me scoring a lot or just getting a bunch of assists. But winning. That was satisfaction.
Yeah, I think, and we see a lot of times participation trophies get entered out now these days. You look past the whole winning as a concept. And so it's really important that we teach our young adults and students the purpose you play isn't just to get a participation trophy. It's to win. And not everyone's going to win, and that's okay. But the satisfaction comes with working hard, putting in an effort, executing a game plan, and the result is hopefully a win. And if you lose, that's part of life. But there is also satisfaction in losing as well. I don't know if you ever had a game where you played the best you possibly could, and the other team was just significantly better than you. I remember going back to, this is way back, but grade 8, I think it was grade 8 provincials. We played Oak Park. So we're this small little Christian school playing this massive high school in Winnipeg, and we got blown out. We got absolutely blown out. But we played the best we possibly could. I think everybody maximized their talent that day. And even though we got blown out, the satisfaction is we did our best, we executed the best we could. And even though we lost, we held our heads high because we didn't mail anything in. So I think that's the flip side of the satisfaction is even though you want to win every single time, you can't always win. And that's something that you have to learn growing up is because life's unfair. It's not fair that Oak Park got the pull from thousands of people. But that's all right. It's part of sports. It's part of what amateur sports like. But I think it changes when you become a professional. Do you think? The idea of what is satisfaction for pro athlete.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It definitely changes as professional because you add in finances, right? You're getting paid for what you're doing. You add in a bigger version of fame and stardom than you could ever receive in high school, right? It's way bigger. It's at a different level. So your ego's exploded even more. So yeah, the satisfaction becomes, I think it's for anyone that's in that kind of Hollywood business, the fame and fortune, it's almost a drug. It's almost a drug that what fame is. And you need more of it, right? You want to be in the spotlight. You want this and that, and you want to be on the highlights. And definitely changes if that's your goal. It depends on what your goals are. It depends on who you are. But I think generally it does change. Yeah. Faction looks differently.
Yeah. And that's really interesting because you always see the challenge of people settling versus having that quote unquote Mamba mentality. You know, how often do we look back in the past at an athlete and say, or a team even, and be like, man, they should have done better. They should have done more. Right? When you're looking at it, we talk about this, you know, garbage in, garbage out, what you put into yourself, what you can get out. What are some of the things that should drive you to succeed when we're talking about sport?
Yeah, like for my point of view, my experience has always been just trying to develop to be the best version of a basketball player I can be. I know it's different for different sports. When you're playing football, you're playing on one side of the ball. For a basketball player, it's being the most well-rounded. I think that's what basketball has become now, the most well-rounded player, whatever position you're going to play. It's almost a positionless league nowadays. And you got to be able to shoot, pass, dribble, have court vision, defend, all those things you have to be able to do. And so for me, it was always just about development, wanting to get better every step of the way. I look at a guy like Russell Westbrook. I've been high on him. I'm high on him with Denver. But he hasn't developed how to shoot. He can do everything else, but he cannot shoot. And I can't really understand that because he's a guy who's so high on his nutrition. He wants to, what he puts in his body, he's never had a cheeseburger before, according to him. And so he's very high on his nutrition, on his work ethic, but yet he hasn't developed the ability to shoot the basketball. So just wonder what he's putting into his skills as shooting, because whatever he's producing it's ugly. It's ugly from the 3-point line. It's ugly now even from the elbow.
I think another easy example is Shaq. For everything that he's accomplished, he's still several rings shy of where he should have been. Right? He loves to say, "Oh, I'm the best big man ever." Okay, you were dominant for a period of time, but you could have been the best player ever. They changed the rules of the game for Shaq. Like Richard Jefferson says, she has clips all the time. You had to have another big guy just for fouls,
Mhm.
right? But you could make a case that Shaq underachieved,
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
right?
Definitely. I'm with you on
And
that.
even now, you see, he's got all sorts of businesses left, right, and center. How focused was he on upping his free throw percentage from, let's say, 50% to 65%? Right? That 15% would have been thousands of points probably that he could have earned, both from just teams not wanting to double team him, not fouling him, to just actual made free throw. You
And
gotta wonder.
think if he didn't go get as heavy as he was, stayed closer to early LA Shaq or even Orlando Shaq, how
That was a problem.
dominant would that be?
Like, and it's funny because you look at guys like Embiid, who's not playing back-to-backs potentially for the rest of his career, right? Who's not going to play those games. Tim Duncan at that age played back-to-backs. Like, he was old man. He was playing back-to-backs. He worked it through. These guys, when you talk about eras, you're really seeing some softness come through. And you got to wonder, what are you putting into your body? Yeah, I think Embiid lost about 30 pounds, apparently. Why didn't he do that 5 years ago? So and
Embiid's a mystery. Embiid's a mystery
Embiid's
to
a
me.
mystery. But I think it encapsulates, what does satisfaction look like in life? And I think you talked about it a little bit before, was what are your goals? What are your expectations? And when you look at society today, it's all about how many subscribers do I have on my YouTube, on my Instagram? Am I posting up with big baller cars and beautiful women? Like, am I showing the partying lifestyle? Or am I, my 10 tips for financial success? What we're putting into our body and into our mind, especially our mind, is all this trash. And what are your thoughts on that? Like, what is, from a worldly perspective, what do you think satisfaction looks like? What do you think winning looks
Yeah, I think also depends on the person, but it's a lot of the things you said. It's the being a big baller, shot caller. You have the G6, the G wagon. All those things that make you look like you're the most wealthy and you have it all together. It's a fake picture of having it all together is what worldly success looks like. And even if you do have the finances, even if you do have all that fame and people praising you, there's still a huge level of dissatisfaction, and a lot of that
like?
will be shown not on camera, not on your socials, right?
For sure.
It's when you're at the hotel room alone, when you're at your place by yourself, right? And that's where they're deeply dissatisfied.
Yeah, I think the message that we see from commercials, we see from social media, is you have to have stuff. You have to have all these worldly possessions to be happy. But what's crazy is, if you look at it, people in very poor countries, they're happy just to exist. They're happy with they're not happy, sorry, they're joyful. I think there's a difference. They're joyful because they're living in the moment. They appreciate what they have. But here in North America, this culture of just more, 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 more. Can you ever truly be happy? And that's a tough thing. People try to medicate things away. They try to, have online relationships or subscribe to OnlyFans. They think that, that person is in love with them, whatever. They just want the money. How do you find true happiness, and how is a Christ focused satisfaction differ from the world?
So this is what we talk about when we talk about the solution to all your problems. There is the source that will help you through any situation. Maybe you think you're going to find happiness if you make more money, right? Or you're going to find happiness if you find the right relationship. And what we want to share is to point you to the source, who is our God, as Christ, to help you understand that the focus shouldn't be on the stuff the world has to offer. The focus should be on is how I'm going to love others the way God loves me. When you have a mindset shift of focusing on not yourself, that's what happens is in our world today, in our culture today, it's such a self-focused mindset. It's about me. How can I make my life better? But the reality is you're never going to find satisfaction you'll find temporary satisfaction in stuff in the world. Yeah, of course, it's going to be temporary. But there's this lasting satisfaction. It's more than satisfaction. It's purpose. It's understanding purpose of, wow, there's more to life than this. There's more to life than 7 cars, a house in LA, and women every other day. Like, there's more to life than this. And understanding that there is a creator that has created you specifically for a purpose and plan, and he loves you, he cares about you, you have purpose, is a life-changing understanding. And when you desire that way, and when you desire the things of God instead of the things of self, that's when everything changes in your life. And it's the most satisfaction you'll ever really experience.
Yeah, I think that you really brought the crux of the point here. Is Christians and non-Christians are asking themselves, what is my purpose? A lot of times you'll talk to people, whether they're saved or not, they're saying, you know what, I'm struggling. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. What are some suggestions that you can give for people who are trying to find their purpose, who are trying to find out, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah, so I would say we'll start with people that are already Christ followers, right? It's a little more simple from my perspective for you to understand your purpose. Your purpose is to love others the way God loves you. So whatever situation you're in, so maybe you're feeling like you're in a dead-end job, you can't stand it, and whatever it is, you're there for a reason. What's that reason? Well, the reason is you are the representation that they're going to see of what Christianity is about. That is your job. How are you going to live that out? So when people get in the idea of, oh, my job is just, I don't care for it. Well, you're there for a purpose, right? You got that open door for a reason. Now, if you're coming from a non-Christian perspective, I would say ask this question, if Christianity was, paint the scenario, if Christianity was true, okay, if it was fully true and you believed it to be fully true, everything it claims to be, and you believed it, would you then say, I'm ready to be a Christian? If they're not ready to say yes, okay, then that means they have, it's not an intellectual issue, it's a heart issue, right? If they're saying no, even if they know it's true, that means it's a heart issue. They don't want to worry about the things of Christianity, which is a morality, which is also accountability. That's what Christianity is, morality and accountability that people don't want. And they want to be their self as God, right? When Christianity, we believe there is a God. He's our moral compass. He's our accountability, right? So there's a difference there. And whether it's an intellectual issue or a heart issue, I would point them to just taking a study of the life of Jesus. Where do you land where Jesus is? Is Jesus just the magician? Is he a teacher? Or is he who he says he is? And that's kind of where I point them first to. And yeah, it's tough. I think it's a long process as well. So I don't think there's a be all end all answer for them.
Yeah, that's kind of why I titled this "Am I There Yet?" Because in reality, as fellow believers, our time on earth here isn't permanent, right? We're expecting either to pass away and go to heaven, or for Jesus to come again, right? As our end game here. So it's really, when we ask what our purpose is to live, like you said, love God, love others for the whole life here on earth. But then we also have a higher purpose when we go to meet Jesus in heaven. So the question is, am I here yet? This is just phase 1 of your journey, folks. This is just phase 1 of your journey. And we have to be prepared for making the most of it here, but also understand that there's the next steps involved as well. If someone wants to know more about, who this Jesus guy is and how they can connect with people to get more answers, are there any sort of resources, or maybe they can link your email or something below? Like, how can people find out more?
Yeah, definitely. We can link resources in our description. There's a program called the Alpha Program that teaches kind of all the basics about Christianity, and it's free. It's online. You can check out churchinthecity.ca as well and see all the resources that we have from our church. And always you can ask the Sports Reverends any question you like.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources available for those of you who have questions and are wondering, what are these guys been talking about? Who is this Jesus guy? Check out the links in our description. And for those of you who want to come back and figure things out and have walked away for a bit, there's lots of resources there as well. We may not be in your same city, but more than likely, we'll be able to connect you with somebody who's in your city. Online is a great way of doing things as well, and lots of opportunities there. So we really appreciate you guys spending some time with us, talking about faith, talking about sports. And make sure you check us out on our socials on Twitter, on Instagram, and for all you old heads out there, on Facebook and on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and especially share. The more engagement we can get, the wider audience we can share our love of sports and the love of God with. And you never know, you sharing a video link or anything like that may help somebody come to know the truth that is Jesus Christ. Check us out, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.